Hello, and welcome to Sass Bites. This is your weekly bite of Sass during your lunch break. Episode number 42. We're excited to have you here listening to this great episode. I'm excited for it. If you are a longtime listener, thanks. If not, and you're new, you can check us out on Twitter at SassBites, as well as on YouTube at youtube.com/SassBites for all of our previous episodes as well. They get recorded as we record them and go straight on YouTube. So if you miss it or if you're late, you can go check it out there. It's a pretty cool thing. So today I have the pleasure of introducing and bringing on Hugo Giraudel. I think I'm getting it right. I butchered it first time last week. Hugo is a front-end developer out in France as we continue our international journey through the developers and the users of Sass. My first introduction to him was, my gosh, he just wrote tons of articles everywhere. You could not see his face. Same avatar constantly. He's written for SitePoint, Tuts Plus, the Sass Way, CodeDrop, CSS Tricks, Mixture, as well as David Walsh's blog. So I want to give a warm welcome to Hugo. Hugo, how's it going?
Hey. Thanks for having me. It's nice to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad you're able to make it, and it's very great to have the French representation of Sass here. With all the soccer and football going on, it's good to get international. So that's good stuff.
Yeah, it's a good time for that.
Of course, unfortunately, I don't follow it enough to make any random French soccer jokes. How are they doing? Are they still in it, or?
Yeah. Actually, I'm not really a soccer fan, so.
So we'll skip right past soccer and move on to more important stuff over that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, the first thing I like to do when I have a guest on here is to learn what is your Sass story. How did you come to find Sass, and how did it come into change and revolutionize your life?
Well, I started with less about 1 year and a half ago, and I played with it just for a couple of days before realizing it just wasn't enough to have fun. So I moved to Sass, even if I was a little scared with command line back then, and yeah, I took a leap of faith, and I just tried and started playing with Sass. And it was fun. So for about 1 year or 1 year and a half now, I've been doing Sass almost every day. So here we are. And
Nice.
About 8 months ago, I got hired in a company to work on a front-end architecture, and it's organized by Sass, so it's pretty cool.
Sounds like a good opportunity then.
Yeah.
No, you don't have much of you don't have a technical background. You don't come from a CS degree or anything like that. So how did you get into the web in the first place?
I don't know. It wasn't really meant to be. At first I wanted to be a game designer, and I realized I wasn't really into 3D, and it wasn't really my thing. So I just tried web design, and I disliked it. So I tried web development, and yeah, it was kind of catchy. So I kept going, and eventually I ended up here I am. So yeah, no, I don't have any really technical background. I never have been really good at math or anything like that. So it's mostly self-learning.
Yeah, because it certainly wouldn't show. Because I know some of the articles that have impressed me the most have been like your bitwise operations. You've done like some Fibonacci sequences and math. Just some of the math stuff you've done has been just brutal to wrap my brain around. So it's pretty impressive you're able to pick that up so quick and get that into an article that actually makes sense for gosh, even for your not even your native language. So it's a pretty impressive work.
Oh, I think I lost you.
Oh, hopefully I'm
No,
back.
it's okay. It's okay. It's back on.
So speaking of writing, so one of the things I definitely want to talk about was kind of your journey through writing, how you're able to produce, how much you do, and as it turns out, you just wrote a blog article on your blog, kind of talking about your background and how you've gotten to where you're at, right?
Yeah. I'm not sure if there is any secret recipe or anything. I just I really enjoy writing anyway, and every now and then when I have some time, I just start writing, and eventually a couple of minutes or 20 or 30 minutes later, I just have an article ready to go. Um, yeah, I'm a fast typer, so it helps a lot.
Yeah,
And
so it
yeah,
turns out, so your love for gaming is actually what you got you writing in the first place. Is that right?
yeah, because I've been a pretty intense World of Warcraft player for a couple of years, and so smashing a keyboard was kind of my thing. And yeah, I just I think to be good at writing, you need to enjoy it in the first place. So if you
Exactly.
really want to release a couple of blockbuster a month or a week, you just need to enjoy writing before anything else, and then it's just a matter of finding topics, because when you write 10 blockbuster a month, it's getting hard to find a topic to blog about.
Yep.
So yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, well, it was a good opportunity just to take something you're passionate about and just start writing because you're writing
Yeah.
a lot, weren't
Yeah.
you? Like thousands of words a week.
Yeah.
So very nice. And then so then you kind of were able to move that into web. So how do you get connected with Code Drops? Because that was the kind of your first foray into writing, right?
Yep. Actually, I was on CodePen at first, and I was doing some silly demos, CSS drawings and stuff. And one day I was in early days back then, and I received this email from CodeDrops saying, "Hey, we saw your work on CodePen. It's very cool. Would you like to write an article for us?" So it was pretty amazing because it's CodeDrops. It's a huge site, and I love what they do. So yeah, I said yes, and I've written I think a dozen articles for CodeDrops over a year approximately, and it just got me started. And then it was CSS tricks and side points and text plus, you know.
Just kind of snowballed from there, huh?
Yeah.
So how'd everything go with reaching out to Chris? I had a chance to meet him this last year at CSS DevConf, and he's an awesome guy. So how'd that whole exchange go of getting connected with him?
Well, the first exchange we had was when I had an article about a CSS Pi timer ready, and I told him if he could publish it on CSS Tricks, I'd be glad. So he did. And during the next year, I think it was in 2013, he decided to finish the almanac, and he needed contributors to help him. So yeah, I took a couple of hours to write a series of entries for him. Among some of them, there was Flexbox, the guide to Flexbox, and the grid entry, CSS grid template. So yeah, I helped him with the almanac, and I wrote a couple of articles for CSS Tricks again, and yeah, it's pretty much it. I'd like to meet him someday if I had a chance.
He's got to get out
But,
to the States sometime, though I'm sure he probably heads out there pretty often as well.
yeah, he's an amazing guy, really. So yeah,
Well, cool.
it was cool working with him.
Now, one of the interesting things about your writing at SitePoint, for at least from the blog that you wrote, was talking about they had a pretty particular structured workflow, which is something I'm really interested in right now as we're trying to kind
Yeah.
of hone in our own workflow. So can you
Um,
explain kind of how that process worked?
yeah, I think I can.
Or close
uh,
enough.
Basically it's a Trello. You know Trello?
Yeah, yeah. So
Yeah.
it's like a Kanban board kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah. It's there is the Trello dashboard, and then you have a column for a suggestion. And when someone wants to tackle a topic, they move the card into I think it's started or something like that. Anyway, and when it's ready, they move it to ready for edits. Then editors can review the articles and make any comments, anything. And when it's all good, they schedule it. And when it's the due date, it moves to archived. And so uh, I I think it was Luis Lazarus, who got in touch with me and told me he needed Sass content for SitePoint, so I accepted. And yeah, he kind of trusted me on the content, and I directly put cards in the ready for edit section. I didn't go to the full process, and I think it went very well with Luis, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, it's very well organized. SitePoint is an amazing site for articles, probably the best site I've written for. And yes, it's really cool. Things go quick and well. You know, you suggest a topic and it gets reviewed in the week and then it gets published, and it's really cool for that.
Nice. Now, are these places that are open to more contributors? I mean, if there's people out there that are wanting to write articles, is it something you have to get handpicked for, or are they always looking for writers? What's the situation with that?
I'm not sure.
I mean, obviously, you
Think,
can't speak
I
for
think
all of them, but
yeah. I think you can suggest get in touch with someone at SitePoint and then ask them and tell them, hey, I want to write for SitePoint. Can we? They, as far as I know, they always search for a new authors. So there are high chance they will say yes. But SitePoint is divided into sections. So there is one guy for instance, HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and one guy for Ruby and PHP and Python. And it's really well divided into components. So you have to get in touch with the right guy to write.
so just find out which one was in control of
Yeah.
which and go from there.
Yeah.
Nice. Cool. Um, so a couple of interesting things you talked about was kind of some tips as to what you can do to improve your writing. And I know one of them you said was to know your topic.
Yep.
Why do you think that's so important?
Because when you try to explain something you don't know the first thing about, it's getting hard. So yeah, the more you're comfortable with the topic, the simpler it is to write about. Looking for an example. For instance, you're writing something about Sass and you are looking for a demo, and the simple fact of being able to create the demo in like 5 minutes help a lot about explaining it. Yeah.
Yeah, sometimes I'll get stuck. I know with this last blog post, hopefully going out tomorrow, I spent a lot of time going back over the code, debugging code. Maybe that's why my articles take so long to do, because sometimes it's a stretch on some of these more complex ones. So yeah, I can certainly see how that would make it go quite a bit faster if you are well versed on that topic.
Yeah.
I think though the takeaway on that is that you don't have to be like if you're gonna be writing about Sass, you don't have to be an expert in Sass, just an expert in what you're trying to explain in Sass, right?
Yep, exactly. You don't have to be the best Sass developer in the world. It doesn't matter at all. It's just better. It's just easier to write about something you're really cool with.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, something that don't bite off more than you can chew, kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Now, one thing that's I'm I think partially shocked by, right, but it makes sense when I think about it, is that you always one-shot your articles. Like you never really come back to an article. How is that feasible?
Well, you have to type fast because actually it's not entirely true. Sometimes I come back to an article just to have the last updates and just add some quotes and maybe a demo and just wrap things up a little bit. But
you always get through the main thought from beginning to end.
Yeah, the main content is always written in a single session. And I think it's just my way of doing things. It probably isn't the same for most writers. It helps me keeping track of what I'm talking about. When you come back to a topic, you have to reread what you've already written to be sure you are not coming back at things you have already talked about and things like that. So doing a single session helps being quick about it. So the more you come back at something, the longer it takes to get things done.
That's for sure. So let's talk about your. Sorry, what were you gonna say?
You have to be able to have 30 or 40 minutes, in a single session to have a complete article. If you have only 5 minutes, it's just impossible.
It has to be a very short article at that point.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your process, because this is one of the things that I kind of work with is, do I start out in Sublime Text? Do I start out in Google Doc? Do I start out in WordPress? Do I start out what do you do? What's your coding environment, and how do you go through that process?
I remember my first articles for Code Drops were started in Google Drive, and then once I was almost done, I would log in to WordPress, Code Drops WordPress, and just create a draft and preview it, update it until it's done. Problem with Google Drive is there are smart quotes. So when you have HTML, it replaces all double quotes with smart quotes, which mess up any editor. So now I write in Sublime Text 3. In Markdown. Yeah, Markdown is awesome for writing, really. So when I'm done with the content, I move to GitHub Guest, because since I work on several different computers, I need to synchronize the files. And GitHub Guest is lovely with Markdown. An article in Markdown is really nice to read. So I start on Sublime, and then I move to Gist. And when I'm completely done, I move to either my own blog, or I hand the Against to SidePoint or TutsPlus or anyone who is publishing.
Nice. Yeah, I certainly should try that out because I'm currently doing the same thing of Google Drive into WordPress, and there's some code highlighters that kind of help with it, but I think maybe the smart quotes are kind of screwing me up because I've run into some odd issues.
That's Markdown all the way.
Yeah.
If you want to write for the web, it's Markdown. It's a no-brainer for me. It's amazing. So Markdown.
And then put it in GIS is nice too, because then you have something that you could share with other people, that you can do revisions, you could have people comment on, and those kind of things. So
definitely,
it's a very, very, very good. Cool. Well, I think that probably closes up the questions I have for you today. Was there anything else particular that you wanted to cover before we headed off?
Yeah. Actually, recently I started using Node.js, and I started working on SassDoc. You know, it's like JSDoc but for Sass files.
Okay.
And there is the project is on GitHub, SassDoc. So.
Is that E. O'Neill? Is that correct?
No, not this one. It's on my my own GitHub account.
Oh, it's your own.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to link that to me at some point.
Yeah, I'm not really good with Node, so I would really like some contribution if someone is willing to, having SassDoc for creating beautiful documentation files for Sass files. So if someone just wants to have a look and suggest things so we can move forward, it would be very nice.
Cool. And what's your GitHub account?
Hugo Giraudel. Hold on here.
I think I've almost got it. Yeah, we'll link that out. I'm not seeing it yet for some reason. Cool. So it's a documentation tool that'll it's in the chat. So look at that.
Yeah. So I started working 2 days ago maybe, and I didn't spend much than a couple of hours on it. So it's pretty raw, especially since I don't know the first thing about Node. But it's already a NPM package, so you can try it out. And I think it's a good start. So yeah, if someone just wants to give some opinion about that, it would be really nice. Yeah. Great.
Well, I just tweeted that out on the SassBytes account. So
yeah,
if people are interested in seeing that, yeah, you get pings all over the place. It's ready to go there. So cool. Yeah, that's actually. Which one was I using? Oh no, I'm trying to remember what it was. There's a couple out there that are seeming pretty promising these days. So
yeah,
I know documentation in Sass is a really, really big deal as our projects get larger and larger.
Problem with the first one you talked about, LAO, I don't remember the name.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's A. O'Neill. Yeah, this one. It's been dead for 2 years now.
Ah, yes, it has.
I think it will be hard to come back to this project, no matter how good it can be, especially since it's Ruby, and while I'm not really good at Node, I'm so much worse at Ruby. So yeah, I thought it was it could be interesting to write some Node for the first time, getting started, and maybe having something good to show.
Awesome. Well, great. I'll definitely be checking that out as well because I'm hoping to implement something like that on the next project I'm on.
Yeah,
so before we go, we've had an opportunity here in SassBytes to give away a ticket to the CSS Summit, which is going to be in July. I know I've got the date here. July 15th through 17th. It had a great turnout. It had 53 people retweet it. So unless somebody just created a bunch of accounts and retweeted all the accounts, I think we had a good number of people follow it. So what I want to do is I want to pick a winner live, and I need your help. So Yeah, if you can give me a number between 1 and 53, and do it quick so you can't cheat and look at the retweets.
16.
Good, 16. I don't have to count that far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Sorry, you're 11, so you missed yourself. So sorry about that. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So, Anne Sturdivant, I'll be tweeting at you. You just won a ticket to CSS Summit. So
Congrats.
thanks, Hugo, for picking a good number. Anyway, I wanted to say thank you again for you coming on. I know we talked months ago when I was really first starting some of these interviews, and you said your English wasn't good enough. And what are you talking about? Your English is fine. Most Americans don't. Our English isn't that good. So I appreciate you coming on, sharing some of your insight on blogging. When I first got to know you, I was like, this is my arch nemesis. This is the guy that will make me want to blog more and more and more every day, and you've continued to do so. So
yeah, you need to really. It would be amazing. So anyone, it's always great to have different opinions on different things. So yeah, guys, just
there's plenty of room out there for more articles. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome. So thanks, Hugo, for coming by. I should have Sass Bites next week. I don't have an exact plan of exactly what it's going to be, but hopefully you'll come back and see us then. And once again, thanks, Hugo, and I'm sure we'll be seeing more of you soon.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thanks. Bye.